to be handling this. The unit maybe could talk to their tournament directors to watch. I mean, I've been instrumental in catching several of the pairs who have been barred for cheating, and it is not an easy thing to do. One pair I was told was doing something. I could see he was doing something, but I just couldn't see what it was until the fourth or fifth time I watched him. So, and making an early accusation sends them underground or gets them to change their methods, maybe makes it harder for you to catch them. So, but my real feeling is that there just aren't people that you're going to be coming up against who are doing this unless they're winning every time.
Let's say someone is hovering over you while you're trying to score, and you accuse him of cheating. He is looking at the score, and so he calls the director.
Well, first, among crimes in the bridge world, cheating is the most serious, and so that, I guess, would be equivalent to murder in our in our justice system, criminal justice system. Accusation of cheating destroys a person's reputation, so it's not quite as bad as the actual fact. It's very hard to prove, and it's something that should be avoided. The person who calls the director should just say, I wonder if you could ask this person to stand a little further away while I'm writing the score. That wouldn't be an accusation. That would just, it would get that done. Now, the club director, if somebody has said that, now should be watching that person and probably making it fairly obvious that you are watching that person. And if you have these cabinet meetings or groups of directors who meet once a month or once a quarter, that's one of the things you should bring up. If you notice that Pete hovers over the North Player while he's writing out the ticket, and watch him on that, and tell him that's not acceptable. It's often those actions are innocent, not all the time by any means, but there are so many ways to get information. For example, you look at your opponent is writing down the score of the board you just played, so you look at the other half of their private score. Many people are not particularly careful about keeping their scores hidden. They're trusting. But I'm not sure that that information always does a lot of good. For example, in the Cavendish a couple of years ago, Bobby Levin, we're playing all the same boards at the same time, and they're only type and drape around each table. So Bobby Levin finished his two hands early, and he said, 6-no trump is cold. Of course, there were cries of outrage all around. But the funny part of it was one guy did 6-no trump and went down 3. Bobby was nice in his comment. I'm sorry, Bobby.
Well, let's say the guy who's being accused wants the director to do something. Does the director just take him outside and say, the guy wasn't accusing you, he just didn't like you watching or something? I mean, this is where the fight gets.
Right.
One is accusing the other, and the other is mad because he's being accused.
Right, and justifiably so. Even unless you've got reasonable proof, the person who does the accusation is in a bad position, because that is.
So I wonder what the director would do when he takes each one separately and try and work that
Well,
out.
I would tell the person who made the accusation, that he owes his opponent an apology, and hope that that would cure it, which mostly it does, but, the person who makes the accusation is definitely in the wrong, because unless there was a camera on the guy and you could see the eyes, because I could be standing there like this with the score right here, and I wouldn't be looking at the score.
Well, the point I also want to
Sitting
make
down.
is these problems should stop at the club level. These people should not be encouraged to go to the unit, because the unit doesn't have jurisdiction over
Well, yeah,
behavioral.
the unit does have jurisdiction if you are making a serious accusation of cheating. But I would get, if I were the unit, I would get ACDL involved. Gary Glaze is the person who sort of handles that as reporter. And he also handles the discipline. And then, if it's a serious accusation and there are signs like they're winning all the time or whatever, then we would try and work out some way to try and catch them and bar them. But Lee Hazen said to me years and years ago, I was angry because I'd missed an opportunity to get somebody I knew was ethically challenged. And he said, "Don't worry, Charlie, the cheats always have to keep going a little bit more. They can't quit. Once a cheat, you're always a cheat. Always a cheat, and you'll keep going. So they're going to get caught. You just don't want to get caught in the backwash. So if you have a problem, then you have a unit reporter. I would go to the unit reporter and say, we have this problem, and then the reporter probably will get in touch with Memphis and say, oops, I can't take Memphis to very much longer as the Horn Lake. Anyway, I really don't think the minor things, like one partner staring at his partner to try and see the reaction. You can talk to that person aside. There's a violation of Law 16. You can't, or there's actually it says you cannot stare at somebody in the proprieties. So you could talk to that person privately, and usually they'll be a little abashed and stop that behavior. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I was just playing. I was the director in the game, and the director is very, very, very hard of hearing. Very hard of hearing.
I know quite a few directors like that.
Now, this one almost never, you have, his partner has to hear the call for it. Anyway, there was a man 2 tables over from me that was upset at his partner, who the first time they played together, he's an old man. I feel sorry for him. He almost had a heart attack in the club, but that doesn't. He started using God's name in vain, not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 or 5 times at his partner. So as a player, I hear this, and this is offensive to me. Other players heard, and they told me later they didn't know what to do. My question to you is, I went ahead, on my own, since I was just a player, I went and said, did you hear that? And he said, no. And he just went on. My point is, if you're just a player, and something, because the book very clearly says profanity is not acceptable. That's 0 tolerance for profanity. God's name in vain is the most profane word I can think of. So in that situation, if you're just a player, and you tell the director, and he just then what else is? I mean, what can do?
You can complain to the club management, but
We don't have management. We have boards that so you go to the board.
Well, that's the management.
Say, okay.
I mean, you can tell them that just director is there to handle the problem, and behavior like that is very disruptive to the whole game.
Everybody stopped, literally.